love to you, girl. To you, girl. Set you free. I'm a bad influence on the word love, babe. Let me talk to you for a minute, baby. I mean, wants to be in love. I'm a bad influence on the word love. Not me. Oh, girl. Not now. Just make love to you, girl. Then set you free. I'm just the young man. What makes you think that I have the time? Oh, to be falling in love in my mind. Your love is forever, so you say. My love is reckless, girl, and day to day. Girl, can't you understand? Baby, don't be blind. I'm just a
I'm gonna take myself a piece of sunshine and paint it all over my sky, yeah. Be no rain, be no rain. I'm gonna take the song from every bird and make them sing it just for me, yeah. Birds got something to teach us all about being free, yeah. Be no rain, be no rain. And I think I'll call it morning from now on. Why should I survive on sadness and tell myself I've got to be alone? Why should I subscribe to this world's madness, knowing that I've got to live on? Knowing that I've got to live on. Knowing that I've got to live on. Yeah, I think I'll call it morning from now on.
Woohoo! Good morning. Up early. We are up early. I'm here. You're here. We're all here. We're here together. Good morning. It feels good to be up. Happy about it. Happy about it. Happy about it. I hope everybody is well. I had a good day. You know, I had a wonderful conversation yesterday. It turned out to be such an enriching full circle moment to talk about trafficking of children and some of my lived experience. And you know, the way you do that, the way that I could do this is through a community of love and real communion, you know. And I realized that I have come far, mighty far. I've come mighty far. And that's such a Such a wonderful feeling, you know, such a wonderful feeling to know that the things that used to paralyze me no longer paralyze me, and that I could stand in full voice without shame or whatever to speak on matters that I know a great deal about. So my lived experience becomes part of a path and a lighthouse for others. And that's how I see it now. So thank you for all the prayers and the well wishes. Yesterday was I had some, not a whole lot, but a little bit of trepidation. But once I got into the moment of it, I was just like, oh, I've come so far, come so far, So anyway, thank y'all. I'm up this morning. I got new sneakers yesterday. I went to Harley Lane Shoes and got my foot fitted for some new sneakers so that I could now I used to be a New Balance girl long time ago. And so when I went there, Rose was an amazing salesperson. So she measured my feet, and then she wanted to know what color did I like what did I like. I said something bright and colorful, and she came back with three different kinds of sneakers. Um, uh, uh, uh sneakers I don't really know, but the New Balance I knew. Um, the Hoka. I did not like those. I didn't feel, they just felt off balancing to me. And she said, well, it's designed to make you walk the way you're meant to walk. I was like, well, I don't like it. So I felt like I was falling off the heel. Like it's a strange feeling. It's like, oh, I couldn't get used to this. Not urban walking anyway. And then there was another shoe, a BC of some sort. It was a nice shoe, but it didn't have enough cup support. But the New Balance had enough cup support. So the trick for me is to make sure I don't try to keep this sneaker for 8 years. You know, like I really should invest in a new sneaker every year. I don't I don't know why that never occurs to me. Um, so yeah, so I found a size that I liked, and I'm very happy about that. So I'm gonna test run them today when I get off air, and we'll see how it goes. So wish me luck, good people. Wish me luck. What else is going on? Uh, I'm gonna go. I'm scheduled to have tarot read today with the good doctor Roderick Ferguson, and it's bestie dinner night, so I'm looking forward to that. Uh, I didn't get to bed early enough last night. You know, I didn't. I didn't go to bed early enough, and I slept fine. But I really feel like I could have slept longer. Not this morning, but I should have went to bed earlier. That's what I'm saying. I should have went to bed earlier, and it was just all right. Uh, it's all right. It's all right. But tonight I'm gonna try to go to bed by 11. I think that's the sweet spot. You know, to go to bed by 11. So well, let's see how that goes. Let's see how that goes. We're gonna give it a shot. I've got lots to do. Now I'm starting to look at the clock and I'm like, the calendar, I'm like, oh, I got a bunch of things I need to get done so that I could be ready like Freddie to rock real steady. That's what I'm trying to do. So I had to get on the ball. Get on the ball and get things done. Get it on and popping, as they say. So let me see. Um, it's a damn shame that we got the U.S. Navy out there in those high seas on them raggedy ass battleships. Those raggedy ass battleships. That's shameful. It's disrespectful. And I don't know why these people want to treat the military like lapdogs all the time. Pete Hegsford, he's such a dick, you know. Just just so such a not a commander. It's just it's beyond embarrassing at this point. And don't they got these wild, ridiculous white men on Fox News talking about why are they whining about tuna fish and macaroni? Why are they whining about how many days they're at sea? They signed up, sir. They signed up to be military soldiers. They didn't sign up to be on some low key slave ship. Like what? Why would you want to treat the men and women who volunteered, who signed up to serve? Why would we want to treat them like trash? I'm not understanding that at all. I'm not understanding that. And I cannot be convinced otherwise. These clowns are just bad for America. They're just bad for the world. They're just bad. Such inept, such caucasity is a evil thing. These Caucasians, they don't got no sense of nothing. Y'all ain't got no sense of nothing. But you want to parade a military, but you don't want to treat your military well. You like the idea of a military, but you don't want the reality of a military. Because these people have got to be compensated, taken care of. They're not at war with America. Why do you have these Navy ships out there in the middle of high seas in these raggedy ass conditions? Raggedy ass conditions. And then to the point where they want to jump ship. And then you mad because they're complaining about their lived experience on these raggedy ass ships. And these white people who voted for this foolishness, silence. But none of them served. Ugh. This nightmare. When are the midterms? Hello. When are the midterms? I need the midterms. Hey, midterms. I'm telling you people, you all better get your narrow asses out there en masse. You better stand in line for 8,000 days so we could take this foolishness out of this system, because we are in trouble and we've got to undo all their mess. And it's going to take long time to undo all this mess, all their ineptness, all their imbecilic decisions, all their I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm white, so therefore got to undo all that mess. All of it. God. Oh my Lord. And you know what? I know white people who can get around the notion of no kings. I need y'all to get harder and deeper in these streets. Because we've got to fix these police departments again. We've got to get better leadership in these municipalities and these cities and towns. There's so much that needs to be done. We've got to recreate the education department, because these dummies, they don't know what they're doing. Oh my Lord. And I don't want to hear anybody else talk about higher education is not necessary. I don't want to hear another tongue waving in that direction. I need these people to crawl back into their holes and their hobbles and wherever the hell they came from and get back to it. Get back to their non vocal lives. Oh my God, I'm so sick of these dumbasses. Oh, everything that comes out of their mouth is a condemnation, is a confession. All of it. And the rumor mill is run amok with Melania Trump is pissed off at the new blonde plaything by the president's side. Put that fight on the front lawn. Make that a WWF event. Put Melania and that blonde chick in a ring, grease them up, hose them down, and let them duke it out for the president's admiration. That's the fight that ought to be on the front lawn. The front lawn that they had that mess on and lost money and messed up the front lawn. Got the White House looking like a trailer. A broken down ballroom, done tore it down. God, I just, seriously, the level of white trashness that is prevalent in that White House right now and in this administration is I'm telling you, stunning. I can't wait till all the Netflix and Lifetime movies that come out of this mess. And you know what? Know what else I'm sick of? I'm so sick of these ICE agents. I want somebody to just beat their asses. I'm not calling for violence, but man, oh man, some of them gonna catch some hands because they are just, these ICE agents, so-called ICE agents, and some of these municipalities are emboldened. Police forces are emboldened, and they think they have carte blanche to just kick citizens' asses. I watched a video yesterday where these police officers ran up on this 12-year-old child on his porch, because they said he fit the description of a robbery suspect. So they get up on the porch. They draw their guns. This little kid is going in the house with his backpack, and they make him get on his knees and talking about, he's like, I'm a kid. and the police officer said, I don't give a fuck. Get on your knees. They're 2, 3, 4 of them, guns on a child, handcuffed him. And the little boy is telling his neighbors, call my mother. And they come to find out he didn't look nothing like the suspect. I don't know if these police officers are just, well, no, I do know. I do know that they're stupid, because this is not if I'm a police officer, and I'm not, but I've been a police commissioner, I would never want that kind of foolishness attached to my name. I would never want to be that guy or that person that's like the asshole on the force. And when you're the asshole. And they spent all this time doing this mess to this child when the real person is out there. And then they catch the real person who looks nothing like this child. All they saw is just some kind of skin color. The other person was a grown-up kid. This little 12-year-old kid is a kid. And he's saying, I'm a kid. I didn't do anything. And you know what that is for me? When police officers act this way, and I've been seeing it with ICE and all of this, it's just terrorism. The very thing that they want to smack down everybody else in the world about, they are themselves carrying out. They want to terrorize people to the point where they think people won't rise up. But you got to know something about the history of this country to understand people will rise up. People will rise up. I need the midterms to come. And I hope his mama do sue. I hope, because, and this is how we saw it, because they have a surveillance camera on their house, a Ring camera or whatever, these little things that surveil your house for security. And they caught the whole thing. And, and language. And language. The way that they talk to this child. And so now it's viral. And so now these police officers, they say one thing, but the video says another thing. And, the kind of lying that these police officers are willing to do is stunning to me. It is stunning to me. Nobody has the courage or character to say, my bad, I played this wrong, I was wrong. No, none of them. Every time they get caught, they got their tail between their legs. I'm going to tell you something. Haul their asses into court because municipalities are not going to continue to be able to pay these hefty judgments. And I'm going to tell you one other thing. Have a conversation with these damn police unions and say, you know what? Further negotiations, we're going to put pensions on the table when we have police brutality. That's number one. If they're going to continue to behave like this, we're going to put pensions on the table. Because we have to be responsible. Taxpayers have to be responsible for heavy judgments or judgments of any sort. You're going to have some skin in the game, police officers. You're going to have some skin in the game. I don't want to hear. Now, this is ridiculous now. Because what happens is they get in trouble, they can retire, or the union fights for them. And listen, I'm a union person. I believe the union ought to fight for people when they are unjustly and unduly wronged. But in matters of police brutality, and it's clear that they were in the wrong, and judgment is levied against the municipality of the police department in that municipality, let me tell you something. Then the unions need to say, you know what? If you do this kind of thing, you're going to lose your pension. That should be the conversation next. So we could shut down all this foolishness, And here's the thing. Now that we got these flock cameras everywhere, which is a whole other conversation. And now that more and more people are putting surveillance tools on their properties so that you can see what's going on, we are in a surveilled state right now. We're in a surveilled state. And people could argue left or right. Listen. Once you put the genie out the bottle, it's not going back in. They're not going to give up. Now they're going to suspend the use of these cameras while they have Q&A in communities, and I understand that. They should have did it beforehand. See, this is how I know this is all crap, because they put these cameras up without having community conversations, and then people start to complain, and the municipalities can say, "Oh, my bad." But they're not taking them down. They're just like, oh, we're gonna turn them off while we have this further conversation. I mean, I don't know if they're off or not. Who's to say? But, people are vandalizing these things. I don't think that's the way to go. I mean, I'm feeling like I'm in, a Terminator movie. This is the beginning. This is not even the beginning of the Terminator movie. This is not even the beginning. We're like at like 3/4 in now. Like we have opened the door. We are here. The technology is here. They're not going to not use the technology. They're not going to not use these flock cameras, even though the abuse of them is outrageous. Police officers checking on their spouses and girlfriends and following people and all that kind of stuff. They're not going to shut that down. Because I already hear people starting to say, well, the good outweighs the bad. So when you start a conversation with that foolishness, and then you start stacking up the evidence to show, look, this is the good stuff. We found people. We stopped crime. Yo. When you start that conversation, you're not going to win the conversation. The folks in opposition are not going to win them cameras are not coming down, good people. Now, what they're going to try to do is tweak when they use them and how they use them. And they're going to put some checks and balances into the system so that, any old body who logs in at the police department or wherever the hell they log in at, they're going to have to time stamp it. They're going to have to put their ID, so you could trace it back if somebody is using it for nefarious purposes. That's how that's going to go down, boys and girls. These cameras are not going anywhere. Hello, colleges and universities and schools across the country. AI is not going anywhere. So these law schools I know there's a law school now and it's like, oh, we're going back to old school paper and pen. No, you're not. The technology is already there. You're not. What you're going to do is make your law students behind the times. What you ought to do is get ahead of it and say, you know what? We're going to offer courses in this. And we're going to limit the use of how we do it on this campus and in this law school. That's the only way you're going to win this game. You're not going to win it by taking away AI. Having kids sit in the class with paper and pen and take notes with paper. That's not that. You can't go back. There's no going back. That's archaic. You're not going back. And you think that that's going to build a better student. It's not. No, what you want to do is use the tools that are before them, so that they can use them with integrity. Use them with integrity. That's what you got to teach. I don't understand why law schools are not wanting to teach integrity. Law school, integrity. Look into it. They're not going back. Everything you use is AI. Everything. Your search engine is an AI. When you talk to your pharmacist online, it's AI. When you pay your damn bills, it's AI. When you pay your parking mobile stuff, is AI. Like, it's everywhere. So now you got to be able to use the tools in a way that does not compromise or open the door to some cheating, because that's really at the heart of this. Oh, kids are going to cheat. Students are going to cheat. They're going to cheat. We got a president of the United States whose whole life is a cheat. And he is the president. Cheated his way to the presidency. And so now now everybody's scrambling to do ground control. So now everybody's concerned about AI. And the schools that are saying we're going to stop AI are the schools that are not prepared. You got to be prepared. What are you doing? You see, I'm on a rant this morning. I done got fooled up. I done got fueled up, baby. Outside, baby. Uptown, baby. I done got fueled up. I'm gonna tell you. The genie is out the bottle. The genie is out the bottle. Remember, people was all up in arms about these Ring doorbells, and they were like, my neighbor can't be surveilling me. Too late. Too late. Too late. Don't walk past my house then, because my camera is on. Don't walk by my house. Don't walk by my house because my camera's on. I don't care. You can be mad all you want. It's on. So we gotta listen. The technology is here, and we gotta learn how to use it. And for us in the community, by community I mean Black people, we are already behind on technology in a lot of areas in terms of what we have access to in our communities. And if you didn't know, the pandemic was a very good example of where we were and who had what access to things. Take a page from the pandemic. It took Wi-Fi granting companies to grant Wi-Fi in communities so people could log in because they didn't have service or they didn't have computers, but they had Wi-Fi service. And so kids was trying to do their homework and school lessons from cell phones because there was no computers in the house. Ain't that a mess? And so it became glaringly obvious, where the gaps were in education. And so that was a teachable moment, and it's still teaching us. It's still a teachable moment. Now, barring all the foolishness of dragging Fauci in front of some lame ass congressional hearing, which is stupid. And 6 years after the fact, it's just outrageously, it just speaks to their stupidity. He's already been pardoned. Why are you dragging him? For what? What do you think he's going to tell you? But you yet to drag that imbecile president in front of Congress to answer questions about anything. The Epstein files, how he botched the COVID response. I mean, just any number of things this dummy president could be hauled his ass into Congress for. Hell, pardoning the J6 terrorist. Wait, he incites them, gathers them, pays for them, and then they go do what they do, and then pardons them. And then all of those crooks, most of them crooks are pedophiles and molesters and all this. And some of them are already back in prison for heinous crimes. Very fine folks, you know. But, the good thing about America is, you have the right to stay stupid. We don't infringe on your right to be stupid. You want to be stupid, we say, go ahead. That's your right. That's the beauty of America. You have the right to be stupid. You have the right to be stupid. Now, you don't have the right to be an asshole to people, but you do have the right to be stupid. And you could wade and bathe in stupidity all day, all night. And we'll be like, that's your right. It only becomes a problem when you want to use your stupidity to make blanket policy based on your stupidity for the rest of us. Nope. You want to act out your stupidity that does harm to the rest of us. Nope. So I'm argue for people's right to be stupid all day, every night. Because if that's what you want to be, you be it. And be it to the best of your abilities. Stay stupid. Stay stuck on stupid. Eat stupid. Whatever. As long as it doesn't infringe on my right to be smart and to move about the world smartly. Because when you start to do that, then we're at odds. We're at odds because you are messing with my liberty, and I'm not going to have it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So this is where we are. But that's the beauty of America. You have the right to stay stupid, and I applaud that for you. But when your stupidity impinges on my liberty, then that's where we have a problem. That's where we have a real problem. And some of these white folks out here, so many of y'all, it's really it is fascinating to watch so many white people who are stupid. It is amazing to watch. And when I say white people, and I include that 3 to 7% of black people in it, who are stupid too. I include that number. So that 3 to 7% catches all the other stupid, black, brown, Asian, whatever else, all the people that are lumped into that I support this foolishness mess. Listen, I'm doing the margin of error on that. 3 to 7%. I'll go with that. That's a good catch-all for the other stupid people. That's a good catch-all. I'm gonna rock with that. So it is fascinating to watch. It's annoying, particularly the ones that who want to do harm and run up on people. And I've watched a great deal of those videos of people. There's a comedian, I think his name is Garfield. He's funny. He's got a whole thing on leave black people alone, because white people are always trying to run up on black people. And black people are like, come on, man, you don't want this smoke. Leave me alone, man. Go ahead on about your business, bro. Leave me alone. And then they get into it. Then they make that mistake. They do one or two things. They either put their hands on somebody or they spit on somebody. And the minute you do that, it opens a whole case of whoop ass. And women alike get that smoke too. Women get that smoke too. White women get that smoke too, because they think their whiteness is like some kind of superpower. Until that black ass fist goes upside their head, and then they realize, oh, my whiteness is not a cape. No, it is not. It is not a shield. Have whiteness is not protection. Not in the physical sense. Y'all crazy as hell. Lord have mercy. Help us, Black Jesus. Help us. Hear my prayer. Hear, Lord, Black Jesus, hear my prayer. Hear my prayer. So anyway, that stuff, man, that is just crazy. I know there's a woman, a sister that's missing in Las Vegas. She gets on a flight. She goes see some guy who's supposedly her friend, and then she disappears. And he is like, "Oh, I just see her left. She left. She said she was going to some shopping, and then she never comes back." And whenever I see those kinds of cases, I've lived long enough to see those kind of cases. There's always that person. The person that's seen her last is the person that always is, the murderer. That's always the person. That's that's always the suspect. Always a suspect. And they'll figure it out because there's still some good policing out there. There's still some good policing out there, and they will get to the heart of it. And then I'm paying attention to this case with this woman. This woman killed her 3 children. Whew. Oh boy, that's a tough one. I've not followed it to the letter, but I saw her mother-in-law on the stand yesterday, and she said, that she was crying out for help. And yeah, I listen. I don't think people, when I say, I don't think people understand what happens to women when they just have baby after baby after baby. And the chemical changes that happens and the hormonal changes that happens in their bodies, and the overwhelm and all the things, what I will say is I will hold them in prayer. I will hold them in prayer because I don't even know how to think about that. I'm just glad I'm not on the jury. Not because I just, that kind of stuff just unnerves me. And since interning at the public defenders, I've seen all kinds of stuff, and I'm like, ooh, all manner of things that go bump in the night. Like, man. So I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know what they're gonna do with that woman. I mean, she's got 2 choices here. She can spend the rest of her days in an insane asylum, or she going to prison regardless, one way or the other. And I dare say an insane asylum, or I'm sorry, psychiatric hospital is equal to prison. Seriously. You just got white coats walking around surveilling you and medicating you, but maybe she'll get the help she needs. I don't know. It's a terrible, terrible thing. Terrible, terrible thing. Terrible, terrible. And then I saw the case where, which is a rarity, that somebody goes to the death penalty, gets the death penalty, and goes within 2 years of getting the death penalty. But this black man raped this little 5-year-old girl. Just all manner of things. It wasn't his daughter; it was his girlfriend's daughter. I think the girlfriend sold her to him for like $2,500 or some old mess, and he raped her and killed her, and then he got caught and said he wanted a speedy death penalty thing. He got it. They put his ass to death just the other day. I don't know what they're gonna do with the mama. Like, I don't know what her fate is. I don't know what her fate is. you know. And then I thought to myself yesterday, yeah, I gotta I gotta get off these looking at these heinous things. And you know, I'm not drawn to them because they're heinous. You know, it's just I'm glad that I'm always stunned at I'm always stunned when I see these kinds of crimes because I'm like, who thinks of these kinds of crimes? Who is committing these kinds of crimes? You know, I wish I could be there to stop people. I was like, listen, if you kill this person, they're gonna find you. You're gonna go to jail forever or get the death penalty. Because I know people are hyped up in the moment and they just cannot see through their rage. Oh boy, just a lot. it's a it's a crazy, crazy game. That's why I mean that's why I have to invite people to go do some other stuff. Find some joy. Find some joy. I don't know about this Dean Withers stuff. I like some of his posts. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Somebody's trying to say he's in trouble for something. I don't know. Who knows? You know. You know, everybody's got some allegation of some sort. You know, so we'll see. You know, maybe he'll, you know, maybe he'll be all right. You know, I don't know. Maybe somebody's dragging him for his past. Who knows? I'm not going to do much more investigating than that. I mean, it'll all come out. Whatever. Mm. We'll do what we can. We'll think how we can. You know. You know. So, I tell you who I do like though. I'm with this Abdul El Sayed. He Democrats, take a page. Take a page. Sit at his feet and take a lesson. You know. Because Donald Trump out here talking about I can't work because Americans are electing jihadists like Zoran and Abdul. President Trump, you need to go see about those Navy men on them raggedy ass ships. How about that? Because right now, bruh, you looking like a jihadist. You looking like the leader of the American terrorists. Maybe they ought to hand you a cape and a hood. So Abdul El Sayed said, my name didn't raise gas prices. I didn't start your illegal war. I didn't make health care or rent unaffordable. Check yourself, fool. Bring it. Don't hate the player, hate the game. He's like, I'm going to bring it. Bring it. You know. So, you know, Zoran speaks a bunch of languages. So people are like, oh, it's just AI. I don't know why people always feel like because they can't do it, it must be fake. And he was like, I speak a bunch of languages, clowns. And then he releases the blooper reel so he can show people how he's like working on his Spanish and his other languages and his Mandarin. And people are like, why is he so smart? Because he went to school and he's smart. Do you know who his parents are? Do you know how he was raised? You know, shoot. I love when he talks about how his name, how he was named. You know, he was born in Africa in Uganda. You know, he was named after Kwame Nkrumah, and and they just don't understand it because most Americans don't learn history. I'm telling you, you have the right to be stupid in America. Everyone does. You know, now whether you stay stupid is your choice. You know, but it would kill them to read a book or anything about history. I don't understand. You know, when I was a kid, I was just always fascinated by learning. I still am. I still am. I still have such a wonder for learning. I like learning new things, whether it's learning the Argentine tango, whether it's taking classes to learn how to fence, which I have done. Whether it's taking a class to portrait paint in the park, which I've done. I love learning. I don't understand how people don't I don't understand why you don't love learning. I like doing new things. I just, if there's something out there that I'm looking for some language immersion classes, because I want to learn another languages. Now I was working on my Italian and my Spanish, and I want to further it, and my French, because I love learning. I'm taking violin lessons because I love learning. I don't understand how people don't love learning. I don't understand that. Particularly when things are free or available or whatever. You could just like learn. Keep your brain fresh and hopping. I don't get it. I don't get it. There's so many good things in the world that people could sort of enjoy. Lots of free things. I mean, one of the greatest things in our country is the public library, I think. And I have a library card, which I think it's time to renew, as a matter of fact. But I love libraries. I could go to the library and get all my favorite magazines and sit and read them for hours. House Beautiful, Vogue, all the damn magazines that I used to have subscriptions to, but that I don't anymore. I love them. Love, 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 love. Those are free things. You know what else we have too? We have great parks in this country. Great parks. Great parks. Even at the national level, of course at the national level, but in your city and town, there's parks that you could wander through, sit through, make a picnic, go and enjoy outside. Just about every town has some significant place that's outside, that's a park of some sort. We're fortunate in New Haven. We got several parks. Lighthouse Park is closed right now, though, because that freak storm just like whoosh, shut it down. But, we have lots of parks that you can walk through and enjoy. Rose Garden, which few people have gone to. If you go to the Rose Garden, it's one of my favorite places in New Haven. If the only other Rose Garden that I know of like that is the giant one, the largest public Rose Garden park in the country is in Hartford, the Elizabeth Park. We have Shakespeare in the park at Egerton Park, which is a lovely park to stroll through. You must go during the holidays when they put out the illuminaries, and you could walk through and see the illuminaries in the fall. Oh my gosh. You know what illuminaries are? Lighted paths. Like a bag with the cutout, and they put a candle in it and you walk through and it's lit and it's pretty. It's just very, very pretty. So that's one park. You could go up all the way up to East Rock and overlook the city to Long Island Sound, just for 360-degree look. You could just look. Beautiful park. Drive up, hiked up. I used to hike it with my children. We'd hike up, park the car at the bottom, and hike the trail. Mubaraka taught me how to hike the trail because she was my trainer. We've done it a few times. And so I went back and I took my children on a hike a couple of times up East Rock, in the trails. And that is an amazing thing to do, to just hike, and then to come back down. It's just amazing. So there's all these wonderful natural things that you can do. Sit in a park, bring a book, to calm your brain, give yourself time away from artificial intelligence. give yourself a break from AI. Give yourself some time away from that, and really, 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 give yourself some real time in nature. You know, I'm hot to go over to the Peace Garden over there on like by Blake and that little area over there, Blake and Fitch, that whole little area. I've not gone over there, but I drive past it, and people are always over there. Anru is always over there taking pictures, and every time I see his pictures, it's always a reminder like go over there and walk that little park. So I might do that in the next day or so. I think it's gonna rain tomorrow, but I'm gonna go over there. I might take a book and I might just sit over there for a little bit and sit in that park. I could park and then just walk it and sit and take it in because it's very pretty over there. You know, you could always go to Edgewood Park. You know, stroll through. Um, you know, there's lots and lots of places in New Haven that you could walk the Long Wharf. You know, now they're building that up. They're about to, you know, make it a whole destination. You know, in a few years, and so uh, that'll be a different vibe. But you know, it's still the water is still there. So there's all kinds of places. You know, you go to Worcester Square Park, and if you go during cherry blossom season, it's pretty. I mean, it's pretty anyway, but you know, the cherry blossoms just add a extra layer of romance to it, I think. So you can stroll that park. You know, just about every neighborhood has a park in it, which is what I like about this city. You know, it's a well thought out. I don't know any part of the city that does not have access to a park. You know, that doesn't have access to a park of some sort. You know, and small parks too, not always giant parks, but smaller parks. So, you know, in Beaver Hill, the Beaver Pond Park, that when I was an alderman, we got support to turn it into to keep it nice, and it's really nice. Now cars just can't drive through there any old kind of way. You know, it is the back road to the football field for Hill House. You know, but it's still it's a beautiful park. I used to take my children there to feed the ducks. You know, people fish over there. My son and his friends used to fish over there. So, you know, I don't think there's any neighborhood that doesn't have a park to it. As I'm running through my mind all the neighborhoods, you know, the Dixwell, they have a skateboard park, which is fun. And I remember the neighbors were up in arms about that. And now it's not even a thought. You know, and I see the neighbors just concerned that black kids wouldn't use it. And that's because people just didn't know that black kids skateboard. You know, and Steve Richards is out there teaching little kids how to skateboard. So I drive by there and I watch the little black girls skateboarding and they got all their gear on and they're doing the damn thing. You know. And we got like the Canal Trail, which you can bike or ride or scoot across, and you know, more and more people use it. So I don't know any neighborhood in this town that does not have access to a park. And there's a list. If you go to the New Haven Parks Department, there's a list of all the parks in this city. You know, and I used to have these conversations with Michelle Turner. It's like, you know, Michelle, one summer we should just go down the list and find every park. And it might not be too late. I might still be able to do it now. You know, summer is still here. I got time. You know, before things get on and popping again. You know, but so yeah. So you know what I'm really saying is find some balance. Don't be just consumer of news. You know, because you know if you consume news steadily and readily, it'll make you angry. And you need to sort of balance your brain. You know, you need to balance your brain with some real opposite kinds of things. You know, don't just spend your time um, messing around with the news. Get outside. Get you some crayons and a coloring book and take your little asses outside. I'm talking to adults. Go outside and play. You know, throw a ball around. Run. Skip. Jump rope. Be outside. Fill your air with lungs of the outside. Take a walk. Take a walk. Take a walk. Take a walk around your hood and see what's happening. You know, take a water bottle so you can stay hydrated. That's what I mean. You got to find some balance because all this stuff will run you crazy. It will run you crazy. And we don't want that. You can stay stupid, but you don't want to be stupid and crazy. You need to get out there and enjoy God's bounty. We are forgetting that, you know, there's beauty all around us. We are forgetting that. And I know the matters in front of us are pressing. And I'm not suggesting we be ostriches and put our heads in the sand. I'm not suggesting that. Don't be stupid. What I'm suggesting is that you give yourself some time to remember that you are a human being, not always a human doing, that you are a human being. And so if you take that attitude, you can balance out, and the world's foolishness and the world's troubles and the world's genocide won't break your spirit. It'll break your heart, but it won't break your spirit. Because when your spirit is broken, you turn inward and you start to cower and you start to hide away. And then you start to not see the beauty around you. And your vision becomes limited. And you settle for hopelessness. And we don't want that. We want you to keep hope alive. As the good late Reverend Jesse Jackson used to say, keep hope alive. And the way that you keep hope alive is to put yourself outside. Enjoy nature. Take a big breath of air. Walk your hood. Say hi to your neighbors. Start a damn garden, or at least put something in the yard. Do something that gives you opportunity to explore nature and to be gentle with yourself and to give your brain a workout on its other side. And that's, my friends, is how you stay sane. You want to stay sane because the world is hard sometimes, but the world is also good sometimes. And so look for opportunities to see the goodness too. Don't just always see, oh, look at them. See. But find some opportunities to go, wow, that is pretty. Wow, that's gorgeous. Wow, I like that. Or wow, I've never noticed that. So tomorrow I got Rebecca Goodhart and Gracie coming on from Elm Shakespeare to talk about Much Ado. Much Ado. They're coming on. Shakespeare in the Park kicks off, I think, this weekend. So they're going to be on tomorrow morning at 7:10. They're getting up early, and they're going to be talking about this iteration of Much Ado. And I can't wait to hear what it says because the pictures is giving like World War I, World War II kind of vibe. So we'll see. But anyway, we'll talk some more tomorrow. Y'all enjoy this gorgeous day. I think it's going to rain tomorrow. But we'll take rainy days too. We'll take them. We will take them. So thank you, Harry. I'll see you tomorrow.
I said upside down, you're turning me. You're giving love instinctively. Round and round, you're turning me. Upside down, boy, you turn me inside out and round, upside down. Boy, you turn me inside out and round. Instinctively, you give to me the love that I need. I cherish the moments with you. Respectfully, I say to thee, I'm aware that you're cheating when no one makes me feel like you do. Upside down, boy, you turn me inside out and round, upside down. Boy, you turn me